John Stamos just went off about Lori Loughlin's husband, Mossimo Giannulli, calling him a narcissist and blaming him for masterminding the 2019 college admissions scandal. The Full House stars defending his longtime co-star by framing her as the true victim in the bribery case that destroyed her career and reputation. Stamos claims he tried to be there for Loughlin during the scandal and believes Giannulli manipulated her into the illegal scheme that landed them both in prison. Here's the psychological manipulation that's really happening. Stamos is engaging in classic victim-blaming deflection by painting Loughlin as a helpless woman controlled by her domineering husband rather than acknowledging her active participation in fraud. The defense reveals how Hollywood enables wealthy celebrities to avoid accountability by creating narratives where women are always victims of male manipulation, even when they willingly participated in crimes. What's most disturbing is how Stamos is rewriting history to protect his friend's reputation while she's going through a divorce, showing how celebrity loyalty trumps truth and justice in Hollywood's twisted moral universe.
Indie pop star Somber is beefing with a 25-year-old concert goer who called his Washington, D.C. show cringe and brain rot on the stage, and his response is genuinely shocking. The fan posted a viral TikTok describing Somber's concert as one of the worst experiences of her life, criticizing his inappropriate jokes about getting his dick sucked and asking fans to bark for me. Somber clapped back by accusing the woman of body shaming and defended his vulgar stage banter as authentic artistic expression that haters don't understand. Here's the psychological breakdown that's really happening. Somber's defensive reaction reveals classic narcissistic rage when faced with legitimate criticism about his inappropriate behavior toward young fans. The controversy exposes how male artists weaponize victimhood and reverse the narrative when called out for sexualized content directed at underage audiences. What's most disturbing is how Somber is gaslighting his critics by claiming body shaming when the real issue is his predatory stage behavior that makes young fans uncomfortable, proving that indie artists can be just as manipulative and problematic as mainstream celebrities.
Lori Loughlin's prenup could mean she gets absolutely nothing in her divorce from Mossimo Giannulli, and the psychological torture of losing everything after a scandal is destroying her mental health. The Full House star's decades-old prenuptial agreement apparently protects Giannulli's assets while leaving her with no financial security after their marriage implodes following the college admissions scandal. Loughlin went from beloved sitcom star to federal prisoner to potentially homeless divorcee, representing the complete psychological destruction that comes with public disgrace and financial ruin. Here's what's really cruel about her situation. Loughlin sacrificed her career and reputation to help their daughters get into college, but now she's losing her marriage and financial stability while Giannulli keeps everything. The prenup reveals how wealthy men use legal contracts to control and ultimately abandon their wives when scandals make them liabilities rather than assets. What's most tragic is how Loughlin's attempt to secure her children's future through illegal means has resulted in losing everything she worked for, creating a psychological hell where her maternal instincts became the weapon used to destroy her entire life.
Shaws of Sunset star Mercedes Javid just filed for divorce from Tommy Fate after 7 years of marriage, and she's demanding primary custody of their 6-year-old son. The 53-year-old reality TV personality says the son has gone down on her relationship, ending a marriage that survived fertility struggles, family drama, and the pressures of reality television fame. Javid's divorce filing reveals how reality TV relationships are built on manufactured drama rather than genuine compatibility, creating psychological stress that eventually destroys even the strongest couples. Here's the psychological damage that reality TV inflicts on families. The constant cameras and scripted conflicts create an environment where authentic intimacy becomes impossible, forcing couples to perform their relationship rather than live it. Mercedes and Tommy's split represents how Bravo's exploitation of personal relationships for entertainment content ultimately destroys the families they profit from, leaving broken marriages and traumatized children in their wake. What's most heartbreaking is how Javid will now have to navigate single motherhood while her personal life continues being dissected for public entertainment, proving that reality TV creates psychological prisons where stars can never escape the cameras even when their lives fall apart.
John Stamos called Mossimo Giannulli a narcissist who masterminded Lori Loughlin's downfall. But his defense reveals the psychological manipulation of Hollywood loyalty over truth. The actor is desperately trying to rehabilitate his Full House co-star's reputation by painting her as a victim of her controlling husband, rather than acknowledging her active participation in federal crimes. Stamos claims he tried to support Loughlin during the college scandal and believes Giannulli manipulated her into the bribery scheme that destroyed her career. Here's the twisted psychology at play. Stamos is engaging in victim-blaming deflection by removing Loughlin's agency and accountability, treating her like a helpless woman who couldn't make her own decisions about committing fraud. The defense strategy reveals how Hollywood enables wealthy celebrities to avoid consequences by creating narratives where women are always victims of male manipulation, even when evidence shows their willing participation. What's most disturbing is how Stamos is rewriting history to protect her friend while she's vulnerable during divorce proceedings, showing how celebrity loyalty creates alternative realities where truth becomes whatever serves the famous person's interests.
Somber's concert was called Cringe and Brain Rot on stage by a 25-year-old fan, and his defensive response reveals the psychological fragility of indie artists who can't handle criticism. The concert-goer posted a viral TikTok describing his Washington, D.C. show as one of the worst experiences of her life, criticizing his inappropriate sexual jokes and demands for fans to bark for him. Somber fired back by accusing the woman of body shaming and defending his vulgar stage behavior as authentic artistic expression that critics don't understand. Here's the psychological breakdown that's really happening. Somber's narcissistic rage when faced with legitimate criticism exposes how male artists weaponize victimhood to deflect accountability for inappropriate behavior toward young audiences. The controversy reveals how indie musicians can be just as manipulative and predatory as mainstream celebrities, using their outsider status to justify problematic conduct. What's most disturbing is how Somber is gaslighting his critics by claiming persecution when the real issue is his sexualized content directed at underage fans, proving that alternative artists use their perceived authenticity to mask the same toxic behaviors they criticize in pop stars.
Mercedes Javid is demanding primary custody of her 6-year-old son in her divorce from Tommy Fate, and the psychological warfare of reality TV custody battles is about to destroy this family. The Shahs of Sunset star filed for divorce after 7 years of marriage, ending a relationship that survived fertility struggles and family drama, but couldn't survive the psychological pressure of reality television fame. Javid's custody demand reveals how Bravo stars weaponize their children in divorce proceedings, using parental rights as leverage in negotiations that will be played out for public entertainment. Here's the psychological damage that's about to unfold. This custody battle will be filmed and broadcast for audience consumption, traumatizing their son who will watch his parents fight over him on television for years to come. The divorce represents how reality TV creates psychological prisons where families can never escape the cameras, even during their most vulnerable and private moments. What's most heartbreaking is how Javid's son will grow up watching his parents' marriage dissolve on television, creating lasting psychological trauma that Bravo will profit from, while the child suffers the consequences of his parents' decision to monetize their family dysfunction.
A Polish pianist's sign of the cross before performing at the Chopin competition went viral, and the psychological power of faith in high-pressure situations is more profound than you realize. Pyotr Pavlak made the simple but profound gesture in the charged silence before his performance at the 2025 competition in Warsaw, creating a moment that resonated with millions of viewers worldwide. The viral video reveals how authentic spiritual expression cuts through the noise of social media to touch something deeper in human psychology than manufactured content ever could. Here's what's really happening psychologically. Pyotr Pavlov's sign of the cross represents the universal human need for connection to something greater than ourselves when facing overwhelming pressure and judgment. The gesture's viral success exposes how starved people are for genuine moments of vulnerability and faith in a culture dominated by performative atheism and cynical materialism. What's most beautiful about this moment is how Pavlov's unconscious spiritual practice became more powerful than any calculated viral content, proving that authentic faith and humility resonate more deeply than manufactured drama or controversy, offering hope that genuine human connection can still break through the psychological noise of our digital age.